God, angels of the highest Christed light, please be here now to clear my space, clear my channel, clear my cards. Allow me to deliver the message in the way that it is intended for the collective tonight. Please also clear the energy of the collective so that the message may be received in the way that it is intended. So anyways, here we go. This is a reading that I just got a little snippet of before I started. You know, the safety is the key, right? Nervous system healing is the key, because we can create from an aligned place as long as we feel safe. We don't necessarily need to feel healed, right? There is no healed. So let's see where we're going with this, right? Because what the examples I'm going to throw out there quickly are, I'll use my personal example. I was a hairdresser. I owned a salon, multiple salons for almost 15 years. And all of a sudden, it just started making me sick. Like, I thought, oh my God, if I fold one more towel, I could just throw up. If I do one more shampoo, I could just die, you know, like physically ill. But anyways, I spent the day getting some things together so that if I wanted to do hair as a backup, I could do that. Ooh, I love this. So this is emerging, right? This is emerging within yourself. Your masculine and feminine, we talk about a lot, right? But what about the merging of the healed and the not so healed, right? Like the accepting of, you know what, inner child, friend under my arm, come here and know you're not perfect, but you're mine. Whoa, that's a lot. Okay. Wow. 2, 2, 6, but 2, if you know what I mean. So it's accepting this part of you, this duality, right? That there is, the symptom is the same, but we're going to treat it differently based on the cause. And what's going on for us right now is this idea of, no, we're not going to go down that road. No, that's not the calling. No, that's not the dream and the goal. But is this a step that is going to make me feel like super safe? Because if this is one step that can make me feel super safe, I can then turn a more clean, clear, focused energy to where I really want to go, right? But okay, the cards that I have here in front of me, I am just channeling. The cards seem irrelevant at this point, but Snoop Dogg might be significant. Here's another duality, right? And this is what this card, the Lovers, is talking about. Gemini season. Happy birthday to the Geminis. Duality. Okay, here's the thing. I would call this duality in cohesion, right? I would call this duality that's a little bit more chaotic, as he is turning from one towards the other. Ooh, I think we are moving away from this type of duality and into this type where we can, and this is even more so than duality, right? Because this is what is within and without, and it includes what's on the outside, right? Here, this is kind of more internal. This duality and this acceptance and this cohesion internally, right? Okay, here, so we've made that shift internally. Now we're looking outwards. Let's see the cohesion outwardly, right? And I feel like this is an experimentation and manifestation here with this Page of Swords, because we have to trial and error things to see what works for ourselves. There's a million manifestation coaches, which I can do for you as well. It's very specific. It is very, very specific to each individual person, right? I'm picking up on some neurodivergence. Whoa. Which is so funny because this came out in reverse. I have the whole deck. I had just lined them up recently. I've done maybe 4 or 5 readings since I've lined them up. So I grabbed the whole deck in reverse when this Wheel of Fortune came out in reverse, right? And I think that's a little bit of a testimony to maybe your ways of trial and error in the past were more, I don't want to necessarily say chaotic, right? But you are going and just sort of picking at things, whatever's in front of you, and seeing what can happen, right? Now, when we're manifesting, we can consciously do this. Just because it came out in reverse doesn't mean I don't have the capacity to turn it if that's what I like better. If that's what I'd rather see. That's not my typical philosophy in tarot, but that's the message that's coming through, right? And let me touch a little bit on my specific philosophy of tarot, because I think that a lot of people get it wrong, especially my Christian baddies, okay? Who I love dearly, but I'm going to speak for myself and not any other tarot reader out there. I have the intuition. The cards back it up, okay? Now, my personal cycle breaking from my family, my generational curse, is being detached. Okay, so I feel like one of my ancestors here did not want me to tell this story, and I think it's from a fear of prosecution, right? We, as a people of Ireland, had our, as all people, as the spread of Christianity has taken over, or, you know, I'm sure this applies to the other major world religions as well, that, you know, whatever came before was forcefully stopped, put an end to, right? And so it takes a lot of fear for people to turn off their intuition and their connection to their God in the way that it takes a lot of fear and force, right? I don't have to explain that too much further. We're all very intelligent people here. So my point is, what is my point? They really just don't want me to tell a story. But the reason for that is because I am a person who has accomplished the cycle breaking in a way that is I've reached a milestone, we'll say. Right? Well, I've reached, it'll come back. It'll come back. I'm losing it. It's work, right? It's a fear of working so hard into the unknown and having it come back and bite you in the ass. Because sometimes we do prefer the devil that we know, right? Especially when we are dealing with some anxiety around certainty. And what feels safe and what doesn't. And so back to my point, go with what feels safe. Turn our wheel of fortune towards our choice. We've got a lot of choices here on the table. And, you know, go with what feels good when you're not sure. Go with what feels good and see what happens in those little moments until it adds up to something and you can actually take the blindfold off and gain some clarity. Gain some clarity comes rushing in all at once and all the steps make sense, right? Maybe this is something you've been working on for a very long time. Maybe this is something, this is a manifestation that's been in the works now, okay? I'm losing my train of thought again. I'm thinking about my daughter talking about the lines in my hands, right? And I've been called to do these hands and cards only readings, and this feels comfortable. It feels safe for me right now. My 4-year-old daughter has been bringing up the lines in my hands because that's what happens when you get older, as she likes to put it, and she loves them. And she cannot wait until she grows up and has lines in her hands like mommy. And it's something that I'm probably self-conscious about. I don't get my nails done. I just don't feel like being like aesthetic and cutesy about it. I just want to throw my cards out on the table and just start talking. And let the words flow through me. And that's what I'm doing. And it's great, right? But there's something about these insecurities at the root of the issue, okay? The insecurities at the root of the issue. So we are talking about the safety in the overthinking it, right? Maybe you are a people who have followed your heart in the past, and what seemed to have happened was that your heart led you astray because things went terribly wrong, and you stopped following your intuition and you stopped trusting. And trusting more in your thoughts and your logic, because that feels safe, because that's how it was before you had this massive awakening, right? But here's the thing, weren't you making the same type of decisions with your heart before you were conscious of what you were doing? There's not I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, okay. If the overthinking feels safe, although we can logically say that it's not, subconsciously, obviously, it's happening, right? Let yourself overthink. Let it feel safe. Let it feel safe to you, because why not? We don't have to overindulge it, right? But we can accept it as a safety. Are we proud to be taking our one string of a baby blanket that we have left to college with us? Usually people try to hide those in the bottom of their bag and whatever, but we still bring it. Are we going to carry it around to class with us? No. But we still bring it to the dorm and hide it under the mattress just in case. Just in case, right? 1, 2, 3. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, God. Thank you, angels. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is telling me that you have every gift and ability that it is going to take to make the decisions. We have some free will, right? But people get free will kind of twisted. It's not like what you think it's like. You're still getting to the same place in the end. The same major milestones are still going to occur. Your impact that you have on the world is still going to be impactful. I don't know how else to say that and sound more intelligent. It sounded kind of silly, but who cares? That's how it came out. Anyways, there's a spirit knocking on my roof that visits once in a while, and it has been when I've been doing readings lately, and it's kind of bugging me out a little bit. Anyway, yeah, so right now, here's how it's coming out, right? We have got all these things going on in our hearts and our feelings and our healing and our queenship progressing, right? Growing and becoming more fertile, I'm hearing, more capable of nurturing something into great capacity for growth, right? And so we're not really seeing, we're in our mother mode right now. We're not seeing our own inner child, right? We're looking at our own motherhood and healing in that aspect and working there. Nothing wrong against the queen, nothing wrong against the inner child, but they both need attention at some points, right? And it is a slow and a steady pace, and we don't want it to be, but that's just the fact of the matter. When you're moving mountains, lifting curses for, dozens of generations, to even get it done in one lifetime, like you're gonna get it done. And you don't get it all done, right? There's not one generation that is, and then the next generation that is not. And it is never again after that, right? There's a generation, one generation at least, that is both. That is both, right? There are a lot of complicated facets to this. I am going to keep calling it a curse. I do think I'm going to consciously say that word. It's very complicated. There's a lot of things that you haven't even begun to imagine yet, and the way that your family and your bloodline has impacted the world around it, right? If we're going back 12 generations, 7 generations, whatever it is, changing our ancestors' vibrations, you think their neighbors aren't going to feel that too? you know, their neighbors are going to feel it too in the next hut over. Oh, I don't know. Anyways, I'm hearing one more card from the middle of the deck, and I'm gonna wrap it up. Ooh, really? It is kind of funny that my son was fussing a little bit here when I pulled the Three of Swords. Oh man, you know what I'm hearing? Imagine the grief that you feel for going no contact with your own mother. Yes, son. Or the, whatever grief you feel, whatever big choice that you've had to make to protect yourself and your future generations to live in an aligned life, right? We've got to talk about the grief of every person before you that has to be broken loose so that it can be released, right? Oh, this grief, it's so much. It is so much. But what I'm hearing with this Seven of Swords is that, looking back on it, you don't necessarily need to have the capacity for that. We don't need to see it visually in meditation and, consciously release. Just ask for it to be released and it will go. Okay, your body can naturally handle that, for sure. Your body can naturally handle that. So don't even just worry about it. Just focus on this. But there is a solemn, is that the word I'm looking for? What is the word I'm looking for? It's like how we celebrate or we remember Good Friday, right? It's not a holiday to be celebrated, or like Memorial Day. I know we do celebrate a lot because we find a lot of reasons to celebrate, as we should, but Memorial Day really is about lost lives, right? So there's this recognition, right? We are celebrating it and recognizing it and being grateful for it and the sacrifice, and that's the way we're looking at this, right? And not popping bottles and dancing on the bar kind of celebrating. This is soldiers coming home from war and tipping their hats to each other, this isn't, you get it. I'm seeing Coyote Ugly again. Anyways, all right, I'm gonna wrap it up here and put this baby back to bed. And I love you so much. And I hope you subscribe and definitely comment if you made it to the end for sure so that I know you're here. And yeah, thank you.